Hello, good people. Welcome to the Safe Happy Life channel with me, Dr. Rose M. And I am a guidance and counseling expert and a mental health consultant. Today, I want us to talk about ladies who go to the Gulf for domestic worker jobs. A lot has been said about them. The kind of punishments they get, the disaster, the tragedy, the catastrophe they face physically, mentally, and even losing their life. Unfortunately, so my heart goes to them. I happen to be a user of JKIA departure gates. And wherever I am there, waiting for my plane to go wherever I am going, I find groups of girls wearing t-shirts on top of their clothes with some writings that I cannot read. And they are following a lady who has a bunch of passports in her hands. And they walk past. And my hand spins when I remember the stories I have read, the cries, the tears I have seen because of what happens there. Then I want to stop one of them or all of them and ask them, do you know, girl, where you're going? And before you answer me, yes, I'm going to country X, country B, country Z, let me tell you something that many people have not been told. When these people are going to these countries, they are many times going legally. These countries have a system that allows outsourcing of domestic workers from countries where labor is not very expensive. I don't want to call it cheap. It's unfair to call human beings cheap. And this system is called the kafala system. Under this system that dates back to the 1950s, sponsors or agents or even employers are allowed to hire a domestic worker from another country, and they facilitate the travel arrangements, the air ticket, the visa, and all. That is why you hear people saying that they are paying for me the fare, they are paying for me visa, they are paying for me that. That amount of money, of course, is not given free. It will be recouped by the final employer who has actually given out that money, who has facilitated that process. So the agents we have, they're just conveyor belts, people who are doing a business. It is up to us to understand right here. I am talking from Kenya, or I'm talking with Kenya in mind. And I want to broaden it actually, even other countries where we have this crisis of ladies facing problems in the Gulf. That in this system, and those countries look at domestic work as private work. And that is why these girls go and they are taken into people's homes. Whatever happens in people's homes in most of these countries is deemed as private, and thus not eligible for protection or in terms of labor unions, in terms of the labor laws, because this is a private worker inside a private house. And these people, when now they go in and they start working, according to regulatory framework governing migrant workers done in 2019 November, a fact sheet by International Labour Organization, it states that it is not explicitly prohibited to take away a domestic worker's passport. And hence the stories you hear. When I reached the house, the madam took away my passport. And in case of a dispute between the worker and the employer, who also doubles up as the sponsor because of this facilitated process of hiring, a written contract in Arabic is considered the official version. Haven't you heard that when we reached there, we were made to sign in another contract written in Arabic, and we were told it is the same as the one we signed back home? Now, according to this regulatory framework governing migrant workers by International Labor Organization, if there is a problem between the employer and the employee, this contract is the one that is used. You never know what is written in the contract. I have said it's written in Arabic. They're not my words, but the words of this document. Again, according to this document, annual leave is given after 30 days. Of 30 days is given every 2 years. And hence the story that I was working without leave. A person can change the sponsor or the employer only if the employer allows it or permits it. Alternatively, you have to serve for the whole period of 2 years contract, because this sponsor has to recoup the sponsorship money that they gave to have you in their house or to have you in their country. And again, this should you have a disagreement with the employer and you happen to get out, deserting employment means termination of legal status in the country, and thus you can attract deportation or imprisonment. That is why you keep hearing that when I left the home, I was arrested. The police were not doing anything contrary, because you lose your legal status immediately you leave the country. Now, this essentially means that a domestic worker should ideally serve the whole contract. And this does not appear to, does not apply to Kenyan women only. It applies to other nationalities. It is only that us in Kenya are able to listen to the stories of our own who have gone through these processes and suffered and or succeeded. It does not mean that the other nations do not go through the same. Many read in the internet, and you're going to hear the stories that are told similar to the ones, the horror stories that we hear about those areas. And people ask, what about the Kenyan embassies? I do not purport to talk for them, but I can assure you it can be overwhelming. Before we bash our embassies in these countries, let us give them a fair chance, because they work within the systems of these nations. They cannot go and bulldoze their Kenyan laws on other countries, and thus they are also subjected to this intricate procedure that remains private for as long as a girl or a domestic worker does not encounter problems. Admittedly, there are those who go and they find very good employers, and glory to God. There are those that go and find real disaster, and these are the ones that are amplified, and they are quite a number. And for me, even if it is one out of 100, it is one too many. What to do? Without feeling like I'm exonerating the inhumane treatment that our girls go through, I think it is important to research more about this kafara system before picking that call to listen to the smooth talking agent who is out to make a business deal out of you. Take time on Google, read about this system, about these countries, so that you know the facts. You separate facts from the myths that we hear. And you'll be able to make a very informed decision so that when you're going, you know, I'm going and I'll be put under this system, and this is what the system expects, and this is how my work is gonna be in this country. If that is cannot be done, then unfortunately, we shall continue having these cases, these issues, because I do not see people changing their laws to accommodate domestic workers from country X and B. These are their laws. This is how it is done. And they are not about, I don't think they're about to change. And if they want to change, that's up to them. But we cannot make them change if this is how their law their system of hiring domestic workers is wired. So for me, I want to drum support, drum awareness that we should educate, edify, raise awareness on the system that these girls find themselves in before they go. So that if they choose to go, then they will go knowing what awaits them. And if they do not want to go, then they find peace in their country called Kenya, where they can have low salaries, have peace of mind. If they want to run home from Nairobi to wherever they come from in the rural areas, they can go and see their parents, they can go and see their loved ones. If they disagree, they know the police system, they know the legal system in Kenya. And seemingly these attractive immigrant jobs, they might cost life. In fact, they have cost people's lives. So let us embrace the happier, safer solutions. And after all, young ladies, we have a new government in place in our country, beautiful country called Kenya. And you know what? The great president we have, President William Ruto, has just announced that the Hustler Fund gets in December 2022. Let us make use of what we have, use of what is within our borders. Kindly share this information, kindly spread it, and have you subscribed? Please touch that bell so that you also become a member of this uh, awareness creation family, and you will benefit from future videos. Thank you very much for being with me, and bye bye. God bless you.